I'm Miss Emma, the Reading Whisperer. This is one of the resources that I've shared on the Facebook page, Speech Sound Pics. Just download the PDF and print it all off. This is to introduce the SSP monsters for monster spelling for the green code level. On the green code level, we're focusing on 6 speech sounds. The speech sounds are s, a, t, p, I, n. If you already know something about linguistics, you'll know that above the speech sound monster, he's thinking, inside his thinking bubble is the phonetic symbol for his speech sound. But don't worry about that. You don't need to learn them, you don't need to know about them, but they will all become apparent as to why it's actually important that you know what they represent. So get out your laminator, and all I've done is I've just trimmed them, and I'm going to laminate to an A4 sheet. So when you print them off, you just fold it over. So you print it off as an A4 sheet and it's like that. Fold it over and then just trim it. I just trim down that side and that side. And then laminate. And then you've got the cards for the monsters that love what will be the green level sound pics. So I'm just laminating these. These are already done. I'm going to cut them up. And these will be sold as cards, so not as big as this, but these will be sold as cards, so you can actually have every speech sound. So that's the explicit teaching, that's in the 4 code levels. So we learn the high frequency sound pics. Here are all the other sound pics. So we don't cover all of those in the explicit teaching because there are 26 letters, about 46 speech sounds, phonemes. But there are about 200 pictures to represent all the speech sounds. So we couldn't possibly cover all of those. There would be no point, so we cover the high frequency ones. So these are the high frequency ones that you see here. So in the green code level, they look at this one. They listen for the monster. It says, and we listen and we take a picture. What might it look like? It might look like that, but it might look like that. So the children need to have all of the choices, but in a way that they understand. It needs to be in the way that a 4 or 5-year-old understands, not in a way that a child understands if they know what a vowel sound is. Okay, now if you're working in prep or the early years, get a surface that they can write on that's a really big surface. Get something they can write on. So like if I was to do the word sat, then we would think duck hands first, don't we? Sat. Then they do the lines, or you help them if they can't yet hold pencils and what have you. So you might put the cards for the 1, 2, 3 underneath or help them. All depends on the child. So we're building, code mapping the word sat, at. And I talk about playing the speech sound piano. Sat. So now we're not even thinking about phonics. We're not even bothered about the letters or whatever that are to go on there. We need to first know, right, I like to lay them out in the order that we actually do to cover the code explicitly. So we've got at, p, I, n. So it also helps the children remember sat pin. Sat, put it in. Okay, so if we've got sat, sat. So which monster do we use to sit on here? We need the monster, so we put him on here. Now I know that looks like an S, but that's the phonetic symbol. Ignore that. And the children, you don't even need to talk. They'll say, what's that? We say, it's actually the picture that means it could be any pictures for that speech sound. It's the generic picture. Even though when you then look at the first picture that we look at in the code level, it looks like this, and they'll say, oh, it looks the same. We say, yes, it does, but actually it's funny because this one means it could be any picture for it could be any of the pictures in here. But yes, it's kind of a bit of a hint, isn't it? So we've got so, and all of this is about segmenting. It's about the ordering of the speech sounds, and this is pure phonemic awareness, and it's going to help with the articulation. So which is monster at, it, and here's monster So again, what's the order?
So we're building words. If I was to look at a word in the air, sat, the sounds are like this, sat, if I'm going to then translate it onto paper. So we want the children to think left to right, what goes here? At, sat. We've built our word sat. Monster spelling. At, sat. Now this part is what wires the brain for reading and spelling. If you do this in preschool, even if you never put a letter on here, you're wiring those brains so that every child will go into school and not fail. We know that phonemic awareness is the biggest predictor of reading and spelling success and failure that there is out of everything. Over intelligence, where they live, parental involvement, over everything. So phonemic awareness matters, and that is the ability to hear in the sounds, those speech sounds, know the order.
We can also tackle manipulation, which is the highest level of phonemic awareness.
Manipulation means if I was to take away the a and change it for an I, what's the new word? Now you want them to be able to do it. Oh gosh, I'm wrinkling. You want them to be able to do it by listening. Sat, at. I'm going to change the a, the number 2 sounds, for an I. What's the new word? It. But here, imagine how great it is when they can visually see it. At. We're changing the a into an I. What's the new word? So we're doing early phoneme manipulation. It. Sit. Oh, the new word sit. Now when I did that and I went it, we're following the sounds. That's what we say in SSP. Follow the sounds, say the word. It. Sit. And that's blending. Again, another vital skill. So all of the skills the children need, we're doing without even bothering about the visual distraction, because it can be a visual distraction, of the pictures of the sounds. I just like to put them back in order. And the children like to get organised as well. Now, a lot of children are ready for the phonics very, very quickly. So I'll say, well, we had it. Sorry, I've moved them now. But we'd say, right, so the monster, when you take a picture of,
and you just use your magic speech sound camera, so you just use your imagination, close your eyes and use your camera, which is again multisensory and fun, and why we call them pictures of speech sounds. The speech sound pics, listen for the speech, translated into pictures of the speech sounds.
What's it going to look like? What's the picture going to look like of in this word? Who decides which it is? The king.
He records it all in the code mapping book, which is called the dictionary. The dictionary will show us how every word is spelt. We can't change that, so we have to think, how do our speech sounds map with the letters in the word? Code mapping. And it often changes depending on our accents. So we also think about whether it's an accent, that's why the speech sounds have changed, or whether we're being a little bit sloppy. And the speech sound king says, please be careful about how you speak so the speech sounds are correct for code mapping. And of course the children love the speech sound king puppet, especially because he's got his stick, which means that he can point to the words and he can follow the sounds, say the word, within speedy pair decoding.
So the picture for the speech sound here looks like this. What's the picture for here? It looks like this. What's the picture for, did we do sit or sat? We changed it into sit, didn't we? I need help with my working memory. It. What's the picture for t that goes here? So we've actually used monster spelling to spell the word sit in preschool, listening for it. We know where the speech sounds sit. We've blended them into the word. We've followed the sounds to say the word. And now we've thought about the picture of the speech sound, it, and we've built the word. And that is what will wire every brain in your preschool class for reading and spelling. And they love it. And I love these because look, that's so cool. We can use this massive great space. I've got glass on mine, but you don't have to use glass, obviously, regulations. But you can use Perspex or whatever, but I love it. We start again and the children do it themselves. This lovely big space. When they're in prep, they start using little whiteboards, but they're little. So get this big space. Really make it fun, big, exciting. Don't limit them.